hopefully those of you who love me haven't clicked off this video. Hello, all you beautiful constellations. I'm so sorry that I haven't posted anything. Obviously, I'm in a new setup. We moved. That is pretty much where all my time went, in addition to school and college applications. But it's Thanksgiving break. Maybe by the time this video goes up, it'll be long past Thanksgiving, but if by some miracle it's up in the next couple days, happy kind of belated Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great day. If you were able to see your family, I hope you enjoyed your time with your family. If you weren't able to see your family, then I hope you were able to celebrate somehow and be around, safely, but be around people that you love and that you're thankful for. So I wanted to do something fun, and I know tag videos are kind of dead, but I think they're really fun. So I wanted to do the Marvel tag, which is a combination of questions from Christine from Poland and Banana Books. Butchered that, but and YA, by the way, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Anyway, I will link their videos in the description. But yeah, let's get to it. The first question is Tony Stark / Iron Man, your favorite first book in a series. And for this one, I'm gonna go, technically it's a duology, don't at me, but I'm gonna go with Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. For those of you who don't know what this book is about, it's really hard to explain, and it's best to go in without really knowing what it's about. It's very high fantasy. If you don't like that, then don't read it. But it's basically about this guy named Laszlo Strange who doesn't know where he's from, like where his family's from. He's an orphan. He really likes to read, and he's become really fascinated with this lost city, and he finally gets the chance to know more about it, and that's kind of all you need to know about that. It's a very beautiful story. I personally think that the first book is better than the second book, but that's my personal opinion. It's okay if you disagree. The second question is Steve Rogers / Captain America, a book that you like that takes place in another time period. And for this one, I am going to go with Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Y'all know what this is about. If you don't, I don't. In case you, for some reason, don't know what this is about, it is about a scientist, biologist. I don't quite remember what exactly he is, but he's the sciencey guy named Dr. Frankenstein, who makes this experiment of putting together bits and pieces of people's bodies to make his own person. And he immediately dislikes it, and that's what this is about. This is going really well, can you tell? The third question is Hawkeye / Clint Barton, a book that you're slightly insecure about liking because other people don't like it. And I'm gonna be real with you, I'm really basic, like really basic, and I don't think there is a book that I like that other people don't, and if there was, I don't think I'd be very insecure about it. So yeah, I guess we'll just move on from that question. Next question is Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, a book with a sibling duo that you really like. For this one, it's really hard to pinpoint a book because it's technically more throughout a series because their interactions are very limited and sprinkled throughout. But for this one, I'm going to go with Hazel and Nico from Blood of Olympus, and also technically Trials of Apollo. I think they interact a couple times. But yeah, Hazel and Nico are absolutely precious. and watching Nico be really passionate about protecting his family is something I've always found interesting. Just because of how closed off he is with other people, like his distrust with people who aren't his family has been very interesting to follow throughout Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then into Blood of Olympus as Blood of Olympus. I'm so sorry. And then also learn how to like accept other people into his family, you know, like find a chosen family type of deal. Yeah, I think them as people are very interesting, and the way that they bond over not really feeling like they fit in to modern times because they're both from the past, and the way that they deal with that in their own unique ways is really cool and really interesting. If you haven't read any of the books in the Percy Jackson universe, highly recommend. It's so good. My childhood. And I will definitely be talking more about them later, so yeah. Maybe I'll sell it to you. Maybe I won't, but I hope I do. The next and probably most important question is Loki a villain that you love and probably are a little attracted to? So I'm not going to do the obvious and say Loki, even though I really could, because there is a Loki book and it's up on that shelf, which I will be showing you later because it relates to a question. But, y'all, don't at me for this. I'm not attracted to him. Well, I don't condone his actions at all. Like, I think he's despicable and not at all someone you would want in your life. But Sebastian Morgenstern Sebastian Morgenstern from Mortal Instruments has a charm about him that you can't deny. And I think the girls that he brought home while Jace was living with him agree. Listen, he may not have empathy or like normal feelings, but actually, okay, listen, he may not have like empathy for people or treat people very nicely, but he knows how to work his charm, and I like people who can do that. I think that's very it's not admirable, I swear. I just think he's very interesting, and he got what he deserved. I'm not saying that he should have won or anything, but, you know, I just find his character very fascinating. So he's who I'm going with for this question. I apologize. The next question is AntMan, a book that you just haven't gotten to reading, but you really want to. And this is where I will show you my shelf. So this shelf is entirely filled with books that I haven't gotten to reading yet, but I will. Basically, it's my TBR shelf, so I'm not sticking to a book for this one because there are way too many books that I could choose. Did I ruin the angle? I don't know. Maybe. That's up to you, I think. Hopefully, those of you who love me haven't clicked off this video. Next question is Hulk/Bruce Banner, and I realized I forgot to say AntMan's like name. Sorry, Mr. Scott Lang. I love you. And for this one, I'm gonna go with Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I get worked up about this in a really good way. I don't like get angry about it when I think about it or anything. I'm in the middle of it for school, and when I tell you that I think this is probably one of my favorite books probably of all time. It's really working itself up there. I just think that the writing style is, for me, like, I know that it's not for everyone because of how poetic and very confusing it is. Just the narrator goes on really crazy tangents and you're like, where are you going with this? And I think that's really fun. That's kind of how I think. That's how these videos go. I just think it's very fascinating on several levels. Just several levels. Historically, the book content itself, and then just what it means to a lot of people. If you haven't read this or don't know what it's about, it follows a person named Orlando who begins the book in the 1500s as a man and ends the book in 1920 something as a woman. It's incredibly fascinating, and the discussions that come out of this book are very important and worth discussing. And yeah, it's really interesting, and it's definitely worth a try to read. So I recommend it. The next question is Ultron, favorite snobby child of a character. For this, I will go with 2 because I already talked about a Percy Jackson book, and I will talk about another again. So in case you're like, that's cheating, then I'm gonna give you 2. Relax, you know? But first, I'm gonna go with Apollo from the Trials of Apollo series. Like I said, it's another Percy Jackson book. This whole series follows Apollo as he is undergoing a punishment to be cast to Earth as a mortal. And while he's on Earth, he has to stop a lot of things from happening. Apollo's character arc throughout this entire series is probably my most favorite thing ever. He starts out, like I said, very snobby, because he's like, I used to be a god and now I'm one of you. Ridiculous. And by the end, he kind of realizes what it means to be human. Is that a spoiler? I don't think so. It's kind of obvious that that's obviously what he would learn. I think that this is probably my favorite series of all of the Percy Jackson universe books. Bold statement, I know, but very high stakes character arc I'm a sucker for, and it's the last series of the Percy Jackson universe, so it kind of wraps up everything really nicely, and I really like books that do that. So definitely read it in case you haven't, because I know a lot of people haven't started this series who've really liked the other Percy Jackson books. Please read this. Please read it. I beg of you. From one Percy Jackson fan to another, I think you'll find something that you really like about this book, even if it's not the things that I found, because there are so many things to like about this. Please. And the second snobby child of a character that I will be talking about is Monty. That's his name, right? Monty from Gentleman's Guide. Again, his character arc isn't as wonderful as Apollo's, probably because Apollo has had like multiple books to really like grow as a person, but he really got on my nerves in the first part of the book, which was the point. So well done, Mackenzie Lee. You did a fantastic job at writing a rich, entitled white boy in the 1800s, and I applaud you because I did not like him at first, but then he grew on me, and that's the point. So yeah, he's my second answer, just so y'all don't yell at me in the comments for all of my Percy Jackson bias. I promise you I read other books. For this next question, I'm gonna have to talk about Percy Jackson one more time because I can't think of another answer. But the question is Black Widow / Natasha Romanoff, a book with a side character that you wish had their own book or series or anything. And I'm gonna have to go with Grover from the Percy Jackson and Olympians series and all of the other books. He's king. He was in there from the beginning and in there to the end. And is he very underrated? Yes. Grover is amazing, and he's gone on so many adventures, and honestly, I think he deserves his own like mini story, and if he has one and I just don't know about it, please let me know, because him as a character is just so fascinating to explore, just all the things that he's gone through and how he's grown as a character and gone from like, kind of spoilers by the way, gone from like cowardly satyr to Lord of the Wild, you know? Like, there's so much in that deserves to be followed. And I can't choose anyone else. Grover. The next question is Nick Fury, a character with a ton of sass. And for this, I'm gonna have to go with my girl Nina from the Six of Crows duology. I mean, they all have their sassy moments, but Nina especially is just a queen. If you haven't read this duology, what are you doing? Actually, I'm kidding. I know I keep saying like, oh, if you haven't read this, like, where have you been? But listen, not a lot of people have a lot of time, and I get that a lot. So I just, for legal reasons, I'm joking. But yeah, if you haven't read Six of Crows, it is about a group of teenagers. They're teenagers, right? Who go on a heist. It's a heist story. It is also a chosen family story. And I know I've heard some people say that they didn't like it, and that's fine. I think it's very overhyped. But that doesn't mean it's not good. It's good. It may not be the best duology ever in the history of existence, but it's good. And the last question from them too, I'm going to add a couple of my own, and they're completely optional. I don't expect anyone to do these, but you know. The last question is Phil Coulson, a book or series that you wish was adapted as a movie or as a TV show. And I'm going to go with Wings of Fire. I think it is getting adapted into a series. That's what I heard a long time ago, but I don't know if that's true. In any case, it is so good, and there are so many books, so you know it'll last a long time. But I really don't know how to explain this either, because it's such a long series that there are a lot of different storylines. But it started out as this group of dragons, young dragonettes, that are involved in this prophecy, and there's like this big world war between between these three queens who are from like one specific region, and they all want to be queen of like that region, but they basically started a civil war and then got other like tribes or whatever involved in the war, so it turned into a big thing. And the dragonettes are basically the ones who are prophesized to choose the next queen, so they're very wanted by everyone for political reasons. And it's a very good series. It's middle grade, but it's, and I shouldn't say but, because there's a lot of middle grade that I think everyone overlooks because it's middle grade, but it's so good, and there's a lot of messages about it and a lot of political undertones, which will be very interesting. And I really need to reread this because there are a lot of books that I actually haven't read, and I forgot a lot about this series, so I need to read it again. Okay, next I have 2 questions of my own, because much like the Marvel Universe, this tag is gonna keep expanding, I think. So first I have SpiderMan / Peter Parker, a book you like with red on the cover. Really simple, but you know, I'm sure this is just your time to show good covers. And I'm not going to show a good cover. I'm just going to talk about a series that I like. So I guess do what you want with this question. But I'm going to go with Eldest, which is the second book. Yeah, second book in the Inheritance cycle, which I don't know a lot of people who've read this. But it is really good. I don't remember a lot about it because I read this in like 5th grade. But there's dragons, there's Middle Earth type stories. There's a boy named Aragon, and he, I think, gets like the last dragon, right? Like, like dragons have been like hunted for a long time, and he stumbles upon an egg. And he's like, what the heck is this? And someone tells him, dude, that's a dragon egg. And he's like, what? I thought dragons were extinct. And they're like, apparently not. And then there's like a big war and everything. Yep. I'm so cut out to be a booktuber. I don't know if you could tell. In any case, I remember really liking it. This is another series I have to reread because at the time that I read this, when people would ask me what my favorite like book or series was, I would say this one. But it's been a long time since I've read it, so I need to get to that again. And my last question will be Star-Lord / Peter Quill. Take a book and match it with a song. This next book is gonna make me sound like I've been sponsored by Uncle Rick or something. I promise you I'm not. I'm so basic, and right now I'm in like a big Percy Jackson plus the other Pantheons kick. But I'm gonna go with Magnus Chase, and I'm gonna pair it with In the Face of Evil by Magic Sword, which is kind of cheating because it was in the trailer for Thor Ragnarok, and you can definitely follow my train of thought on that one. But I do think that like synthwave songs and all that fit this series really nicely. I don't remember if it came out before Thor Ragnarok. It probably came out after. But it's just, the vibes fit. The vibes fit. I'm just saying. If you've not read Magnus Chase, which a lot of people haven't, it follows Annabeth's cousin, Magnus, who is the son of Frey, right? Wait. I don't remember what Norse god he's the son of, but he is the son of a Norse god, because this follows the Norse gods. It's very fun. I haven't actually read the last book of the trilogy, but I'm about to because me and my girl Sophie, whose channel I think I will link in the description, because I know she has a channel, and y'all should watch her if she has a video up. I don't. I'm such a bad friend. I'm so sorry. But we're gonna buddy read this because we were buddy reading Tyrant's Tomb and Tower of Nero together in the Trials of Apollo series, and we're gonna get going on Magnus Chase pretty much after this video is recorded. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth a read. It's very fun. The Norse gods are really interesting. Historically wise, we don't know a lot about them because there's not a lot of text on them, but they're really interesting. And obviously I'm obsessed with Loki in terms of the Marvel Universe and Norse mythology wise. So do your girl a favor and read Magnus Chase just for Loki. Just for Loki. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you liked it. If you made it this far, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate it. Because apparently, listen y'all, I checked the statistics and apparently my average watch time is like 8 minutes. Which I get because I have a really short attention span. But considering that for the most part, the only people subscribed to this channel are my friends and my family. For real? I'm kidding. You do what you want with your time. I don't do these for anyone else but me, really. So yeah, thank you for watching. I kind of forgot my intro, but I think I forgot my intro. Dream big, stay kind. There's a third thing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Bye bye.